Mr. Bachchan, firstly, congratulations on being chosen to receive the 2010 Lifetime Achievement Award at the Asian Awards. How do you feel?
Well, thank you so much. This is the first time I'm hearing about something like this. And after my brief chat with you and coming to know of the extent and the expanse of these awards, I feel very privileged that I'm being considered to form a part of this very large diaspora of achievers from the Asian world, and for it to be conducted at this award ceremony to be held in London.
Thanks for that. The event itself is being held in London, and in terms of London, UK, the British audience love you. They've always loved you. How do you feel about the British audience and the affinity they have towards you? Is there a special relationship there? How would you describe this relationship?
Yeah, well, London is almost like a second home to most of us here in India. We go there as often as possible every other month. I've been there on personal holidays, but mostly on work, shootings, made films, several films there. There's a great atmosphere of homeliness. You don't feel like an outsider. There are lots of Asians there who have, first, second, third generation Asians now who have moved up in life and are occupying some very prominent positions. I've been traveling there for the past 40 years, and I've seen a vast improvement in the quality of life, not just for the country, but for the Asians that live there. And the way that they have moved up in society, in the social strata, as it were. So I'm delighted that I'm going to be a part of this group and be able to meet many friends. So London is almost like second home now.
You're being honoured with the prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award, and I can't even imagine where you would begin to start when reviewing or cataloguing those moments in your life which make up those achievements. But I'm going to ask you, if I can, to highlight a few of those achievements in terms of key moments that stand out for you personally.
This is an unfair question because you're asking me to talk about myself, which is a terrible thing. I'm never able to do that, and I'm sure that many of the other celebrities would be very uncomfortable talking about themselves. But this is a perception from people like you and honored people like the Baroness who consider that we are worthy enough to be considered for this achievement award. I think ideally they would be the persons to ask why they think that I should be getting this award. But if I've been associated with Indian cinema for the past 41 years, and we've been making all kinds of cinema. What I'm really happy about is that when we started off, the Western audiences were very skeptical about our product, very critical. They didn't like the content. And when I talk about content, I'm talking about, excuse me, the more commercial escapist fare, which Hindi cinema and general commercial cinema in India has been renowned for. There was the more artistic cinema, but that was a different league altogether. We've never been able to differentiate what is the difference between art and commercial cinema. For me, cinema is cinema. So initially, the reaction to a lot of the material and the content that was coming out of India was not liked. But what I'm happy about is that over the years, now this very escapist fare has become a norm. It has been accepted. It has a position. It has a place of its own. And many a times when we are asked, when are you going to get out of this song and dance routine, I say, I hope we never do, because that is what our USP is all about. And I think that what is really creditable is that the Western audiences have now started appreciating this kind of cinema and given it some kind of a stature. And I think that this is largely due to the Asian community, the expatriate that has lived in the West through generations, adopted the lifestyle and the nationality of the country that they are living in, but always being connected to their roots and passing that connection on to the locals and getting them involved in where their ancestors came from, or what India is all about, and what our cinema is all about in particular. And I would say that they are largely responsible for this, if I can call it a boom, for Indian cinema that has taken place in the last decade. So thank you for your appreciation, because it is because of you that, that our cinema is getting appreciated. But if I may just say so, it's not just the cinema that the Asian community living in the West has promoted. They have been able to promote themselves individually, away from what comes out of India, say, for example. Yes, they have their own roots, they have their own culture, but they've been able to develop a kind of an Asian Western culture which is very individual, very unique, and very different from what is, routinely Western and what is routinely Eastern. And that's great. The music, for example, there's a huge expansion of a different kind of music which is identifiable now as being Asian. Coming out of England, having a sort of a Indian connect, but not entirely Indian, not entirely Western. And that's really very creditable. So these are some of the things that we do. Films as well. There are some filmmakers, producers, actors who are doing extremely well. And in recent months, we've had, Slumdog Millionaire and a lot of the cast there being involved, which are coming out of the Asian community living in England. So that's very creditable.
I'm keen to expand on that last question, if I may, to some degree, whilst avoiding embarrassing you in any way. So instead of asking you about your greatest achievements, how about if I ask you to highlight those 2 or 3 special moments in your life which remain in your mind and have moulded your career?
Oh, you're going to take a couple of days to be able to do that. But really very fortunate that I was accepted in the Indian film industry. Very fortunate that I had people who gave me a break, who believed in me. And when I talk about that, I talk about Khwaja Ahmad Abbas, who gave me my first film. We talk about Rishikesh Mukherjee, with whom I did the maximum number of films. Salim Javed, who wrote some of the most magnificent scripts for me. Prakash Mehra, Manmohan Desai, Yash Chopra, Ramesh Sippy, and right down to now when, through the decades, there have been all these youngsters that have been coming up and continuing to work with me. That's very surprising for me, even at this age, but very fortunate and very happy. So if you were to, divide my career into 3 or 4 decades, then, I would say that these are the people in the initial years that worked for me. And then came Mukul Anand and Tinu Anand, and the next decade we had the next younger generation, Aditya Chopra, Karan Johar, so many magnificent youngsters, and now working with Balki, who did Pa and who did Chini Kam, and working with Mr. B.R. Chopra's son, Ravi Chopra, who did Bagban, working with Sanjay Leela Bhansali, who gave Black. So it'll have to be divided into several decades. And these are the people that I enjoyed working with. But yes, there's always been the desire to be challenged and to look forward to tomorrow. And hopefully that there'll be a fresh challenge which I can hopefully attend to.
It's very easy to say that you're a major force and inspiration to Asians all over the world, both people who are interested in following your footsteps in the Indian film industry, as well as those people who are looking at you as an Asian and seeing the path you've taken, admiring that path and wanting to replicate it. What advice would you give to people, or what are the core behaviours you think people need to adhere to in order to have or replicate such a success?
I don't know. You've got to be lucky first. But yeah, I think you should know the craft. You should know the language. That's very important. And you must persevere. I think you get nothing without any kind of perseverance. There are many disappointments that will happen as you go along, because instant and immediate success is never possible in an industry which deals with creativity. Creativity takes a bit of time. You need audience acceptance, and that is the most vital thing. If they love you and they like you, that's more than half your battle won. So for that, yes, you must know the craft. You must be confident that you know the craft. And you must be able to replicate it in front of a camera. Luck is also very important because, yes, sometimes fortune plays a very big hand. But I think perseverance and just keep at it, knowing that someday something will work out.
Thanks very much, Mr. Bachchan, and once again, congratulations on your award.
Thank you very much, and I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the Asian community and all the people that live around this, well, this nomenclature of a community, because they are the ones that have showered me with their love and affection. They've gone to see my films, they've appreciated my work, but more than anything else, they've always stood by me in my hours of trouble, particularly when I was ill during the time, and prayed for me and for my life. That's a debt that I will carry for the rest of my life, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Thank you.